Hello, there. Have you ever moved into a brand new residence and felt such as you were not totally alone? My call is Sarah, and some months ago, I moved right into a quaint, antique residence nestled in a quiet neighborhood. The residence had a allure approximately it, vintage furniture, creaky wood floors, and an experience of records that appeared to respire via its walls. Little did I know, one of these breaths could come from something a long way from human. In a dusty nook of the attic, amid containers of forgotten memories, I determined it, a doll. Not simply any doll, thoughts you. This one turned into exceptional. It had an unsettling presence, something that made the hair at the return of my neck stand on end. I notioned not anything of it at first. I mean, it is only a doll, right? How incorrect I turned into. The day I determined the doll turned into like several other. I turned into unpacking, sorting via the muddle of my new life. The attic turned into my ultimate task, full of relics left through the preceding proprietor. As I rummaged via antique trunks and musty containers, there it turned into, sitting on a small wood chair as though it were expecting me. The doll turned into antique, Victorian, possibly, with a porcelain face, glassy blue eyes, and a dwindled, tattered dress. Its hair turned into a tangled mess of once blonde curls. It regarded worn, cherished too much, or maybe, now no longer enough. I picked it up, inspecting its sensitive features, and determined to vicinity it on a shelf inside the dwelling room. It appeared innocent enough. That night time, as I settled into bed, I could not shake the sensation of being watched. I brushed off it as first nighttime jitters in a brand new vicinity. But the subsequent morning, my coronary heart almost stopped. The doll, which I had left at the dwelling room shelf, turned into now sitting at the kitchen table, staring directly at me with the once cold, glassy eyes. I laughed it off. Nervously. I have to have moved it and forgotten, I advised myself. But a sit-back ran down my spine. I moved the doll, returned to the shelf, and went approximately my day, looking to forget about the unease creeping into my thoughts. Days changed into weeks, and the doll persevered to move. Each time, I determined it in an exceptional vicinity, sitting at the stairs, mendacity on my bed, even status in the front of the reflect with inside the bathroom. I attempted to rationalize it. Maybe I turned into sleepwalking, or possibly a person turned into gambling a prank on me. I invited buddies over, hoping they had assist me clear up the mystery. They laughed, calling me superstitious, however their laughter dwindled once they noticed the doll. My friend, Jenna, refused to live the night time after the doll regarded in her suitcase. She swore she hadn't touched it. "Sarah, that is creepy," she said, her voice trembling. "You want to eliminate that thing. But how do you eliminate some thing that appears to have a thoughts of its own?" Desperation drove me to investigate the doll's origins. I scoured the internet, trying to find whatever that could provide an explanation for its odd behavior. That's once I stumbled upon a story, an antique newspaper clipping from the early 1900s, approximately a doll that introduced misfortune to its owners. According to the article, the doll belonged to a bit female named Emily. Emily had died below mysterious circumstances, and the doll were surpassed down via generations, every new proprietor assembly in premature and tragic end. The greater I read, the greater horrified I have become. Was my doll the equal one? It in reality matched the description. The doll's moves have become greater frequent, greater deliberate. It wasn't simply acting in random locations anymore, it appeared to be following me, continually watching. I could awaken to discover it sitting on my nightstand, its eyes locked onto mine. Sleep had become a luxury. Night after night time, I turned into affected by nightmares of the doll coming to life, its tiny palms attaining out to strangle me. I awakened gasping for breath, soaking wet in sweat. During the day, I noticed glimpses of it out of the nook of my eye, best to show and discover not anything there. My friend, Mark, provided to live over, satisfied he should show the doll's moves had been simply my imagination. That night time, he skilled it too. He wakened screaming, the doll mendacity subsequent to him at the pillow. I felt it. I felt it move, he stammered, his face light with fear. Sarah, that is no joke. You want to eliminate it. But how? The doll appeared indestructible. I attempted burning it, however the flames refused to touch it. I buried it inside the backyard, best to discover it sitting on my sofa the subsequent morning, dust nonetheless clinging to its dress. I could not take it anymore. Driven to the brink of sanity, I determined to confront the doll. I locked it in a container and positioned it inside the attic, decided to seal it away forever. As I walked away, I heard a faint whisper, a kid's voice, pleading, "Don't depart me." I froze, my coronary heart pounding. Gathering my courage, I became returned to the container. It turned into open. The doll stood in the front of me, its eyes sparkling with a malevolent light. I sponsored away, my breath coming in short, terrified gasps. You cannot manipulate me," I whispered, my voice shaking. "I may not allow you." The doll's eyes appeared to comply with me as I grabbed a hammer and swung it down with all my might. There turned into a noisy crack, and for a moment, I notioned I had won. But then, the doll's face started to fix itself, the cracks sealing as though that they'd by no means been. Desperation became to rage. I smashed the doll once more and once more, however it turned into no use. It continually healed, continually got here returned. Exhausted and defeated, I fell to my knees, tears streaming down my face. The doll disappeared after that night. I never saw it again, but the house remained haunted. Strange noises echoed through the halls, and shadows moved where no shadows should be. I could feel its presence, always watching, always waiting. I moved out soon after, unable to bear the torment any longer. But the experience left a mark on me, a lingering fear that I'll never shake. Sometimes, late at night, I hear that whisper in my dreams, "Don't leave me." And I wake up, drenched in sweat, my heart pounding, knowing that somewhere out there, the doll is still watching, still waiting for its next victim. So, if you ever come across an old, forgotten doll in a dusty corner of an attic, leave it be. You never know what darkness lies within, waiting to be unleashed.